What's up, world? What it is, what it ain't, what it's gonna be. We back with another episode of Millionaire season. As promised, I promised you in the last episode consistency. I promised you hard work, dedication, and timing. You know what I mean? So we back with another episode, man. And let me know how y'all feel about that last episode in the comments, where I was breaking down who I am, what Millionaire season is, and why I created this brand, this movement. Yeah, let me know in the comments how y'all feel about that last episode, man. And also in the comments, let me know about any future topics that y'all want to hear me speak on, and I'll give my best insight or expertise from what I've learned or what I've experienced. Just throughout life or on this journey of becoming an entrepreneur, man. Because like I said, Millionaire Season is not a podcast or one specific thing. We're talking about everything. So tap in to the comments below, man. Let me know what y'all want to hear from the boy, man. You know what I mean? Millionaire Season. For those of you that this is the first time tuning in, welcome, man. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to the community. Welcome to this Millionaire Season life, man. We litty. Like I said, back with another episode. This is episode number 2, and in this episode, I kind of wanted to talk about becoming an entrepreneur, or the journey of becoming an entrepreneur, building a brand, and just betting on yourself, man. Because I think one of the biggest misconceptions of becoming an entrepreneur is thinking that you will have freedom. You know, or before I even get into that, I want to say this. You know, most people want to start their own, or a lot of people want to start their own business or become an entrepreneur because they see the success of what somebody else has achieved, and they don't want to know, or they don't know what comes behind that. You know what I mean? The beginning stages of becoming an entrepreneur. You know, because it's not all glitz and glamour, you know what I'm saying? And it's more than what meets the eye, if that makes sense. You know, it's more than a social media bio. You know, it's a lot of late nights, a lot of sacrifice, hard work, discipline, and just faith, man. Faith that you're on the right path, faith in your talents, your abilities, and faith in God or whoever you believe in, but faith in a higher power, man. It's more that goes into it than just the fruits of the labor, if that makes sense. Like the financial freedom, the freedom in general, the impact or whatever it is that comes with what you're pursuing or what you creating. It's more to it than that, you know. And like I said, one of the biggest misconceptions is thinking that you will have freedom, and you will. That is one of the things that come with it, but that freedom can be like a gift and a curse. You feel what I'm saying? Because, and the reason why I say it can be a curse is because now you don't have anybody else to blame when things go wrong. You know what I mean? And everything is on you now. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to make things happen. You got to be able to make things move a certain way. Everything is on you. And you know, when you work in a job or a 9 to 5, that job creates structure. You know what I mean? You clock in at a certain time, go to whatever department you in, you go to break at a certain time, and then you clock out to go home at a certain time. But when you becoming your own boss, when you building a brand, you don't have that already set in place for you. So it's on you to create that schedule, that structure, that routine. You know what I mean? And that can be the deciding factor in whether you succeed or fail. You know what I mean? So I think that's like the curse of it, but the gifts of it is obviously more freedom, more free time to yourself, more time to create, more time to do the things that you've been putting off because of this and because of that, or and also, of course, like when whatever it is you doing does eventually catch traction or people start supporting it and your brand starts blowing up, then everything that comes with that, you know what I mean, a different lifestyle, like I said, the financial freedom, the fulfillment, and knowing that you're doing whatever it is that you want to do, and the joy of whatever it is you want to do. And yeah, I think that's like the gift of it. And you know what I mean, like I said, you always had a curse of that too, you know what I'm saying. And another big misconception is thinking that you have to have it all figured out. And the truth is, you're not going to have it all figured out. And nobody that's ever created or attained a high level of success had it figured out when they first started. You know what I'm saying? You learn as you go, you learn from experience, you learn what don't work and what does work. You know what I mean? You don't have to have it all figured out. You know, all you got to do is focus on or get enough courage to start. You know what I'm saying? And once you start, then everything else will come, and you have to have the faith in that. You know what I mean? Like I said in the last episode, for me, I ain't got nothing that I need to, none of the traditional things that I need for a podcast. You know what I mean? I don't have the microphone, I don't have the interface, I don't have the boom arm for the microphone. You know what I mean? All I got is my camera. Now I got my notebook this week, you know what I'm saying? I can't prepare this week, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? But yeah, I got my notebook now, you know, and I got my vision and my faith, you know, and that's all you need, you know what I mean? You don't have to have it all figured out. Just start, you know what I'm saying? Everything else will come at the right time, and you got to trust that, you know. And just, you know, when you becoming when you becoming an entrepreneur, you have to adopt a whole new mindset as well. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're going from thinking like an employee to thinking like an owner. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta adopt a whole new mindset. You have to embrace the uncertainty. You know, because for one, that's where growth comes in at. You know, and you just gotta be able to wiggle through all that, because this, and know that this process of uncertainty is necessary, you know. And when it gets to a point to where it gets overwhelming, just remind yourself that you require more out of yourself than you ever have, you know what I mean. And that kind of lightens the load a little bit, because there's no blueprint for, it's people that you can study and, you know, take some type of game from, but there's no blueprint for doing it exactly how you doing it, you know. And sometimes in that uncertainty, that's where the miracles happen, you know what I mean. Like I said, just put one foot in front of the other one and keep going, continuing to show up for yourself every single day, whether that's reading a book, journaling, praying, meditating, whatever it is, or just simply being still. That's all a form of showing up, you know what I'm saying. Because what you're doing is aligning yourself with the person you're becoming. And that's, if not the most important thing, one of the most important things that you can do, you know. Because that phase right there, and this is why so many people quit in the in-between stages, because everything that they go through in that time, you know what I'm saying, from the times of feeling inspired or motivated or feeling good about yourself and what you're doing, to the times where you feel discouraged or self-doubt starts to creep in, or shit get overwhelming. This is where most people quit, because they don't understand that this phase is necessary. You know what I mean? You have to go through these things because it's shaping you. And God is going to test, not only is he going to test you, but he has to test you. You know what I'm saying? He has to provide those trials and tribulations in your life, because ultimately it's not about what we achieve, it's who we become. And this phase, that's what it's doing. That's why it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? So just be prepared for an emotional roller coaster. You know what I mean? And I think I heard Nipsey Hussle say one time in an interview I was watching with him, and he said, you know, he went through every emotion with trying to pursue what he was doing, you know. And he hit the nail on the head with that statement, because you do, You know what I'm saying? You go through everything, but like I said, it's a necessary part of the process, you know, and you can't get to where you trying to go without going through this phase. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just be prepared for an emotional roller coaster, but understand that emotions are temporary. You know what I'm saying? And don't let whatever you're going through or have you feeling um, dictate your next steps or sway your vision. You know what I mean? Remain faithful in yourself, whatever it is you're doing, and faith in a higher power that everything is going to work out and that you're on the right path. You know what I mean? That's very important to whatever it is you're doing, from my experience, from what I've learned. You know what I'm saying? And just um, doing my due diligence, my research, my studying the game and things like that. You know, just be prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna go through it. You can't skip it because it's necessary. You know what I mean? So just be prepared for that, and don't worry about the final product when you building your brand. You know what I mean? Don't worry about how it's gonna happen or when it's gonna happen, because that's not up to you. You know, you focus on what you can't control. You know what I'm saying? You focus on showing up every day, focus on consistency, focus on authenticity, storytelling, and I would say just getting your message across. You know, how do you want to impact people? You know what I'm saying? Focus on that. Don't worry about who's supporting you, who liking you, how many views you getting. All of that is, you know what I mean, that's a distraction. You know what I'm saying? That's because if you pay attention to that, then it's gonna get you discouraged from what you're doing. So that's a distraction. Don't worry about all that. Like I said, focus on getting your message across. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna be the thing that make people want to tap into whatever it is you're doing, because not only do people want to feel like they're a part of something, people want to feel like they can see part of themselves in you. You know what I mean? So just focus on being real, focus on the consistency, like I said, and everything else will come into place. And you have to have that knowing that it is going to come into place. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to bet on ourselves in this life. You know what I'm saying? If we don't bet on ourselves or take the risk of betting on ourselves, then we risk staying the same or staying in the same position for the rest of our lives. And I don't know about y'all, but that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why I walked away from my 9 to 5, because I just had like an epiphany one day, man, and it just hit me out of nowhere, like, because I remember going into work, you know what I mean, and I was already coming in with a chip on my shoulder, you know what I'm saying. I remember going in there, you know, doing the usual. I'm grabbing my harness, I'm grabbing my equipment and everything like that, and I was trying to figure out, like, do I hate this job or do I just strongly dislike it? And what I realized is I hated the fact of doing something that I didn't want to do. I hated the fact of getting up early to go do that. I hated the fact that I was settling, knowing that I was capable or way capable or more than what I was doing, knowing that it was other things I would rather be doing. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's me recording this podcast, going to the studio, going to the film set, or just working on my ideas for my clothing brand, or whatever it is, it's other things that I would much rather be doing. And I started thinking like, you know, like not even on no envious type of shit, but just I started thinking like, you know, it's people that's waking up every single day doing whatever it is they want to do, or creating whatever it is that they want to create, and you know, they getting fulfilled by it. You know what I'm saying? And I started thinking like, not even from the money aspect or the financial freedom of it, but just that ability to wake up and do whatever it is you want to do on your own terms. You know what I mean? Because that's how I define success and creating an impact. You know what I mean? And I started thinking like that, and I was like, I'm no different from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got talent. You know what I mean? I got the ability. I know that I'm capable of way more than what I'm settling for. So why am I settling? You know what I'm saying? I started asking myself questions like this. You know what I mean? And I started asking myself like, am I in alignment with the person that I want to become or the person that I'm becoming? And once I started asking myself questions like that, it just started hitting me more and more. And it got to a point to where I was just like, fuck it. I'm gone. I'm done. I did it for long enough. I did it for as long as I could. You know what I'm saying? And you can ask anybody at Staples Warehouse about Ron Odom. You know what I mean? I was a hard worker, dedicated. I made sure I showed up every day. But I did it long as I could. You know what I'm saying? You think that I would quit that job? I was there for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? So do you think I would quit that job if I didn't know what I was doing was what I'm supposed to be doing, or if I didn't know that I was on the right path? I know that I'm on the right path, even if my reality doesn't match it yet. You know what I'm saying? I can see it in my mind, and like I said, you think I would have gave all of that up if I didn't believe in what I was doing? You know what I mean? And that's the type of risk we have to take. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, nothing changes until you change. You know what I mean? And nobody's coming to save you. So that's what you gotta realize when you in this process of building a brand, being your own boss, and betting on yourself. You know what I mean? If you don't take that risk, then you risk staying the same forever. And like I said, I just couldn't live like that. And this is no shade to anybody that has a 9 to 5 or anybody that works for somebody else. This is no shade to you. If you get some type of contentment or fulfillment from doing whatever it is you're doing, then I salute you. More power to you. This podcast is not for you. You know what I'm saying? And if you stop watching or unsubscribe, then I promise you it's no shade from me. But this podcast is simply for the people who have the desire to create something meaningful, or to create something that's going to live beyond them, creating something that that's going to give them fulfillment, and like I said, if that's not for you, then by all means, then what I mean, there's no hard feelings from me, and I'm not losing no sleep, but this is not for you, what I mean, because I feel like we have to bet on ourselves in this life, man. We have to take those risks. We have to take those chances, because you won't know until you know. You know what I'm saying? You spend your whole life living in fear of what if I fail, or fear of me not having this, or fear of me not being good. That you live in that fear for so long that it paralyzes you. You know what I'm saying? To keep you stuck in the same places that you is, or the same situations that you are in, and that's what the comfort does. You know what I mean? Anything that's unfamiliar, it's how can I say it? It's foreign to the mind, because the mind wants to keep you stuck in your comfort zone. So, like I said, with the uncertainty, we just gotta get get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And pretty much it for me. That's pretty much what I've learned in this process of becoming an entrepreneur. And if this resonates with you, if it hits home in any type of way, share it with somebody else who may need to hear it, man. And remember that nobody's coming to save you. You got to save yourself. You know what I'm saying? As long as you need saving, that savior within you is still asleep. You are the plan. You are the biggest business that you're going to ever have to manage. So focus on improving yourself and leveling yourself up every day in every way. You know what I mean? And I am working on a digital guide, a digital ebook right now as we speak. and it's a blueprint for anybody that wants to create something, or all creatives, no matter what field you in, that's ready to bet on themselves. So pay attention, stay tuned. I will be dropping the release date for that soon. And for anybody and everybody that's here from my music, the album is coming soon. I promise, and I promise that you're gonna appreciate it. You know what I mean? But until next time, that's a wrap for episode number 2, and I'll see you soon. Peace.